Good morning, everyone. It's me, Laura, from Lauofattraction Life Coaching, and I wanted to thank you, for your patience in me obviously not sending out podcasts or being as active online as I would like to be at the moment and supporting you guys in your journeys. I have moved house, as a lot of you know, and it's been quite crazy, quite busy, and I've also started a full-time job lecturing music, which is amazing, but there's a lot of work going on. So what I wanted to talk to you is actually how do we balance that work-life process, and what do we do when we're feeling that life is almost getting too much for us? We've got too much on. Now, we live in an environment at the moment where busyness is this kind of epidemic where it's almost becoming a competition as to who's the busiest of everybody in society, and I know that people kind of have these exhaustion competitions with their spouses or with their friends, and it's crazy. I'm trying to kind of book in to see friends of mine and clients and things, and I'm booking up to sort of 2 months ahead, 3 months, because weekends, evenings, time is all taken up. And you have to be aware that actually you have to rest, and you have to have time for silence and for boredom. Something that I think is a shame actually within our society, and I think almost that it would be, or that maybe there's almost some plan from the powers that be, as it were, that stops us from getting bored, because when we're bored we are creative. Boredom leads to creativity, boredom leads to new ideas. And so, as a musician, actually the time that's most important to me is the time when I'm not doing anything and when I'm in silence. And sadly, because life is very busy, this tends to be the time just before I'm about to go to sleep where I'm in silence, and then suddenly lyrics come to me, or an idea for something pops up, and you suddenly think, oh God, I've got to get up and write that, because if you don't get up and write it, it'll be gone by morning. Or there's the case that you just go to sleep and that creativity is lost. Or you get up and write it, and before you know it, you're writing songs or recording music or doing something at 12 in the morning, and that's not, really a suitable time to be up, especially when you think that everybody's packed in 9 till 5. So what can we do? Well, the first important thing I think is to actually timetable off time in your diary where you're not doing anything. And this sounds a bit crazy, but people like Dave Asprey, who's the leader of the biohacking movement, a very, very high level businessman, does this, and I do this, and I think it's really important to do this, where actually you just block off chunks of your diary where they are just for you. And they could be for you to go and do something. They could be for you to go and do nothing. It's your prerogative to fill that time or not fill it. Now, I think within that, you need to block in times where you're not filling it with anything, and this is time for meditation, it's time for reflection, it's time for journaling, for, your self-care habits, whatever that may be. Sometimes, and a lot of my clients ask me about self-care. They say, oh, I didn't do my meditation last night, Laura. I went to the gym instead. Is that okay? And I was like, yeah. Are you feeling good for going to the gym? Yeah. Well, okay, self-care looks like different things. Sometimes self-care is, going to bed early. Sometimes it's eating a piece of cake. Sometimes it's going for a walk. Sometimes it's not going for a walk. Sometimes it's going to the gym. Self-care is personal, for one, and it does look different every day, dependent upon you and how you're feeling and what your life is doing at that time. Now, sometimes self-care for me is lying on a sofa and watching trashy TV, because that's a time for me to decompress and for me to shut my brain off. Trashy TV. Sometimes, it's about getting up and cooking a really nice, fabulous, hearty meal from fresh. Sometimes it's bunging something in the microwave and pinging it. Self-care is transient, and it depends on what you are feeling at the time. So the important takeaways from this is that you need time to be able to do nothing, okay? And most people I know, because life is so busy, you need to block that off at some point, and you need to block that time off, and you need to be very stringent on it, that you don't start blocking stuff in that time. This isn't a time where you go, oh, well, I need to take somebody to the doctor, so, well, I'll just block it in my self-care time. No. If you start doing that, you start to take away from you. And when you take away from you, your avatar to the rest of the world becomes much shakier. And it becomes something that is stressed and angry and frustrated and tired. And these are the things that lead to you being not your best self. And so, and I say this regularly to my clients, selflessness, it's martyrdom. This idea that you can go and go and go and push and give yourself to everyone and blah, blah, blah is crap, okay? Selfishness is selflessness. When you start to take care of yourself, you start to take care of everybody else a hell of a lot better because you've got the energy to do it. You're not resentful of them. You're not resentful of the fact that you've got to get up and go and do something and you'd much rather just lie in bed, okay? When you take that time to just lie in bed, when you do go out and spend time with people, you're glad to be there. You're full, I talk to my clients about that we're cups, and like ourselves, we're giving cups of ourselves to other people, and that we have a well. Now that well is finite, it's a finite resource, but it can refill, and if you keep giving cups of yourself to everyone else and they're all really thirsty and you're giving it out to everyone, before you know it, when you turn around to re-quench your thirst, your well is empty. So we need to be really stringent upon what we do with our time. And I think that some really important things is, take time for self-care. Take time for meditation, for journaling, for eating cake, for sitting down and watching trashy TV, for reading a trashy novel, for going out for a walk. Take that time to do that, but you also need to take time to do all of the other self-care things that you need to do in a week. And to do that, a lot of the time you do have to block off time. So block off the time that you need. Make sure that you are serving yourself first so you can serve others better. Be reflective upon the day, okay? When you come home, I want you to start to think about how the day is gone. This is a Stoic principle from Marcus Aurelius, and he would come home and think about the things that you've done in the day. And this self-reflection actually allows you to not only congratulate yourself on the things that you've done well, but it also congratulate yourself on taking that time out. When you notice that you kept your block of time and then you were more productive at work, you'll begin to see that looking after yourself is a better approach than not looking after yourself. The beauty of being self-reflective at the end of the day as well is that you can begin to congratulate yourself on the things that you've done and the things that you've achieved. And what this does again is it sets up very, very strong pathways in the brain for you to be able to become a success, because not only are you strengthening the neural pathways of being positive and being happy and being grateful to yourself that you have succeeded at something, and gratitude is an incredibly powerful place to start, and a very powerful emotion that if you start with gratitude and you're suffering from depression or anxiety or just negativity in general, then you'll begin to start seeing massive changes in your life. And I know that sounds glib, but it's truthful. Okay, so gratitude is a great place to start. But that gratitude for the things that you've done in your life also sets up really powerful reward, kind of dopamine responses, where you will start to continue to keep your goals. And, a lot of things that people have problems with in their life is that they're not doing the things that they want to do. Well, that's because you're not rewarding yourself for the things that you are doing. You just do them and then you're like, okay, that's done, and you move on and you look towards the next thing that you're going to do. And I think it's always great to have a goal ahead of you, but it's really important to celebrate the successes you've had. We don't just complete something and then move on to the next thing and go, okay, well, that's done, move on. Because your brain, your internal child, your internal sense of self within you likes to be rewarded for what it's done. So when we come home and we're reflective over the day and we say, hey, I got that thing done, that's amazing, I'm amazing. It's not arrogance to reward yourself. This like holier than thou martyrdom that has been injected into society, where we don't congratulate ourselves, we don't give ourselves a pat on the back, you know, and we just go and go and go and go, is a load of crap. You know, and this is why so many people are suffering from mental health issues. So many people are suffering from anxiety, depression. You know, they feel like they're not a success. They feel like they're not doing as well. It started with Keeping Up with the Joneses, and now it's ended up with everybody just completely mad. So you need to begin with you, okay? You are the most important person in your life. You will always be the most important person in your life. There is nobody, even if you have children, you go, no, my children are the most important person. No, they're not. You're the most important person in your life, because if you put your children first, who's going to protect your children? It's that thing that we apply our own gas masks, yeah? Or oxygen masks, not a gas mask. Our oxygen masks before we do our children. You know, if you are there fuddling with the children and you die, who the hell's going to look after your kids? Okay? This martyrdom that has been injected in society is a load of nonsense. You are the most important person in your life. Put you forward. Block time off. Tell your boss no to extra time and overtime in the things that are going to eat up your time. Tell your children, no, I am not taking you to that club right now. I need to relax, you know. Tell your children that they need to go and sit down upstairs, yeah. They'll be fine for an hour to look after themselves, to go and play upstairs. You know, when you were a child, you weren't entertained all day. Okay? So just put yourself first and realise that you are important, and do all of those things that you need to do to ensure that you are having a life that's not full of busyness, but is full of self-care and self-love. So it's been lovely speaking to you. It's been a bit of a long one, but mini podcast. There you go, guys. I have got a podcast in the go at the moment. I'm just trying to get to record it. At the moment, it's just there's no time. Ironically, actually, it's not. It's that I'm coming home and I'm thinking I need to not work right now, so I'm doing my self-care stuff. To be fair, if you think that I'm just blocked out, you know, midnight to midnight, I'm not at the moment. But I need some rest, so that's why it's not coming as quickly as it is. But I hope you enjoyed this podcast, this little mini podcast. It's lovely to talk to you all again. Please leave a comment, please like, share, subscribe. It allows the page to go further. It really helps my business out, and I know you guys are all awesome in supporting me, and I absolutely adore seeing all your comments and hearing all the things that you say. And, you know, honestly, the love that I feel from you guys is overwhelming at points, and I really, really appreciate the level of support that you've just given some crazy little girl that kind of wanted to set up her own business. So thank you very, very much, and I look forward to speaking to you all soon. Okay, I hope you're well. Take care. Goodbye.